Welcome to the Classy Stevo podcast, where every day is a golden moment in time. We talk about the news, artistic culture, training methods, nutrition, and more for classic bodybuilding, as well as updates on the fitness industry. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. The show is about to get on rolling. Well, heyo guys, welcome back to the Classy Stevo podcast show, where every day is a golden moment in time. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful start of your week. I sure am. But I have an awesome topic that's been on my mind for a long time now. And this is in regards to today's bodybuilding culture compared to the past previous culture. So basically, without getting too detailed, like saying, oh, well, the 1970s, 80s, 90s, I'm not going to break it down there. I'm just going to split it right down the middle and compare the 20th century to the 21st century and kind of how bodybuilding's overall culture evolved. Now, I'm not going to get super specific with body types and compositions and stuff like that, but rather the culture itself and the attitudes that follow that culture, because this is something that you don't really hear too much today about. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but no one really talks about it. So I thought it would be a great time to throw into this podcast. But without further ado, let's get right into this. So back in the 20th century, we're talking about, the 1900s or, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, all the way through the 2000s. But basically, during the beginning of the time of bodybuilding, especially during Arnold's era and stuff, we had camaraderie, and if you haven't really heard that word too much, basically guys that really helped support one another. You'd go to the old school gyms. If you read articles time and time again, you can just get a feel for the old school guys and how they always supported each other. Of course, there was not much technology back then. There wasn't social media. There wasn't YouTube. There weren't blogs and all this stuff and hurricane of, stuff flying around. So we had guys that just, relied on relationships, building solid friendships and spending time together, going to the gym, going to the beach, going to the burger shack, you name it. Guys that were just real, authentic. There was no kind of hype, bullcrap, none of that. Now, of course, we still had some marketing going on behind the schemes, especially for like Joe Weider, like muscle magazines and stuff. And yeah, sure, there's still some talks about how a lot of that was hyped up with using Arnold on the cover, but that's kind of little stuff. The main point is we're talking about just camaraderie. We're talking about friendships, all that good stuff. So it was a really awesome era in time through the 20th century for the most part. All the way up till almost the 2000s, but everyone supported each other. It was a great time. Now, the thing is, once the 21st century started coming around, then things started taking a change. We started getting technology. We started getting cell phones. We started getting, all of the different social media platforms, you name it. And with all this technology, things started changing. And what I mean by that is we started having, for example, first, I guess you could start off with social media. Guys would start posting progress pictures and all that stuff, which is fine and dandy. But then we started getting into forums or like basically talk forums, discussions of guys going in and starting to talk about different guys on the internet. And this is where things started really sparking and taking a big turn for the better or worst. So what I mean by that is we started having guys saying one thing about one guy and then suddenly another guy arguing, counter-arguing. And before you know it, we start having these arguments and guys starting to basically hate on other bodybuilders, claiming this or that. And then on top of that all, you have YouTubers that start coming out during the same era, making YouTube videos. And before you know it, we have these, we're going to call out this guy for doing this. And then, and just basically what this all resulted in long story short, is a lot of hate speech. And I think that's what really bothers me with today's bodybuilding industry is it's filled with a lot of hate, unfortunately. There's so many factors. I mean, I could be here all day talking about this or that, but there's a lot of hate speech out there, even though it's still an overall positive environment. There are a lot of influencers out there. There's a lot of great bodybuilders, with younger generations looking up to them and basically being motivated by these guys on stage. But at the same time, there's just so much hate involved, partially because of all of the new technology access that we have today on discussion forums and threads and stuff. And as I said, unfortunately, even though YouTube is a great community, it's awesome showing, blogs, videos, and following people's journeys and stuff on a day-to-day basis. It's a great platform, but at the same time, it opened up a whole can of worms for guys to go on, create these fitness channels, and then just call out a bunch of guys saying, oh, this guy's just cheating, or this guy's a liar, this guy's a thief, this guy, just all kinds of stuff. You can go on YouTube, type in the word call out in the fitness community, and I guarantee you will find hundreds of thousands of results of guys calling out other bodybuilders for lying, for, all kinds of stuff. And I think that's what really bothers me, is that the culture has been so interrupted and interfered with, partially due to technology. So technology, of course, has a great upside, but also a great dark side, in a sense, as you've probably heard before. It's like a double-sided, a two-sided coin. But yeah, so it's a very heated everyday topic kind of thing, but that's kind of what changed the whole entire fitness industry's outlook and culture. Is just today there's just a lot of hate. Now, although I will admit there are some real guys that are currently out there or used to be out there not too long ago, and I will have to say right off the bat, I want to briefly go into just talking about Rich Piana. Unfortunately, I never really gave him too much of my attention at first, simply because I just didn't follow him much back in the day when I first started bodybuilding. Most bodybuilders have heard of Rich Piana, right? He's been around for a long time. He's been competing, or he used to compete in the past, and then he created 5% Nutrition, which obviously, like I said, most people have least heard of the word 5% Nutrition. That's a very, very popular brand and company that he started. But Rich Piana, I highly respect the guy. It's unfortunate that I didn't really catch the wind of him until maybe about the last 3 years or 2 years of his life is when I really started following him and watching his YouTube videos, and I was thoroughly inspired by the guy. Now, of course, he's not a classic bodybuilder, never was really by any means. He was more of an open kind of bodybuilding division guy, but it wasn't his physique so much that I respected. It was himself. It was his personality. I mean, yes, he had a very impressive physique, but it was his personality that really got to the better of me, that I really respected a lot, because the number one thing that Rich Piana offered on the table was full transparency and full honesty. He did not bullshit. He never hyped up stuff, because you can go on, YouTube, you can find thousands and thousands of fitness YouTubers, no offense, but guys that just hype the shit out of stuff, guys that just, lie or whatever, or just create a bunch of drama and all this stuff. And Rich Piana, he was just straight to the line, just real guy. He never, he just said how it was. And I think what I found really amazing is that, of course, he was on gear and he just fully came out, admitted it. He even gave the cycles of what he did. I mean, he just didn't have anything at all to hide. He wanted to let everyone know his thoughts, and he was just a really real, genuine guy. And that's why I liked him so much. Just because he was so open. And you can't really find a lot of guys like that in today's industry, no offense. I mean, we have wonderful bodybuilders out there, great physiques, but trying to find a real authentic personality nowadays is just not that common. It's very hard. Back in the day, there was a lot more guys out there, like I said, that were real, genuine. They hung out with each other. They did things together. They didn't hide behind, fake curtains and all that stuff. It was all real. And Rich Piana kind of pretty much brought a similar mentality back, and that's what I really appreciated about him a lot. It was a really nice guy, and it's unfortunate what happened to him, but nevertheless, I digress. I really respected the crap out of him, And that's just one of my really good examples to show that there are still people nowadays that are true, they're genuine, and straight to the line, just authentic. And that's what I really appreciate to see, because it is not easy at all. So that's kind of just the general gist of just from back then and today. It's just the attitudes, I think, is probably the best word to describe. The attitudes and culture has changed. We still have impressive physiques. We still have great divisions. I like following the classic physique division, and especially like Wesley Vissers is another common, a good go-to for me to explain, kind of a newer guy in the professional bodybuilding environment that just did, like classic physiques and past shows, and has gotten quite a bit of attention lately. But he's another very authentic guy. He's genuine. He's nice. He's humble. He doesn't hype the stuff up on his YouTube channel. He shows just genuine videos, and I just love his personality and everything. And that's just another good example of a guy, modern day guy out there that I really respect, because he's very nice and he welcomes his fans and just awesome guy. So he's another one. I guarantee there's probably more out there that I just haven't really paid or followed too close attention to. So I'm not saying those are the only two guys by any means that exist today, but it's just a food for thought. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think. That's just kind of a general outline. It's a shame how technology and stuff can alter the way a classic culture was originally built, and how perspectives, attitudes have changed over time, partially due to that, as well as, all the chat rooms and stuff. So let me know what you guys think. What do you think? Do you think like today it has kind of taken a turn for the worse, or do you think there's some kind of hope for the future ahead? Hopefully with classic physique and the classic bodybuilding environment returning, maybe some of the morals will be picked back up. It's hard to say, it depends on a person-to-person basis, but that's just my overall thought on that. Just an opinion, not trying to attack anything. And like I said, that's the thing about this channel, is I'm not ever trying to attack anyone. I'm just offering some personal insights and keeping an open mind on the topic. And I think that's the most important thing to have, is an open mind, and just kind of just absorb the information, just see what you guys think. So be sure to leave a comment below. Let me know what you think on this topic, and I will catch you all in the next podcast. Have a golden day, guys. Cheers. Thank you again for tuning in to the Classy Stevo podcast. Material is generally posted on a weekly basis, so please stay tuned in for the next release. Your support, guys, is greatly appreciated, truly. So feel free to share this podcast with others and spread the positivity with them. And always remember to have a golden day. Cheers, guys.